There's been another policy backflip from the government, this time on the carbon price. It'll abolish the floor price on the emissions trading scheme that's due to replace the carbon tax in 2015, despite just a week ago defending it. The move was the cost of linking up with Europe's carbon pricing system, which the government is hailing as a move toward a global emissions trading scheme. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports from Canberra.
The Climate Change Minister was putting a brave face on the government's latest policy swerve.
This is a good move for our economy and a very good move for our environment.
The Prime Minister's been a vocal supporter of a floor price for her carbon trading scheme when it comes in 2015.
This will limit market volatility and reduce risk for businesses.
And just last week, Greg Combet said the government was committed to it, just as he was negotiating with European regulators to remove it.
These are market-sensitive matters, and I wasn't about to add to any uncertainties in markets.
But the Europeans weren't the only ones pressing the government to abandon its plans.
Many concerns have been raised by the business community about the floor price, and we have been cognisant of that, and we have been responsive now to it.
It had to happen. I think there were problems with the design of the floor price, and the world carbon price is just so much lower than people anticipated.
In Europe, a tonne of carbon pollution costs under $10, significantly lower than the $15 floor price the government had planned on, thanks to today's second announcement linking the future Australian carbon market with the one in Europe. The carbon price there will set the carbon price here.
Now that the floor price has been pulled out, polluting got cheaper, basically.
And potentially more expensive for the government.
We've now got revenue forecasts that are in part based on some optimistic carbon price forecasts.
The European price would have to triple in 3 years to hit the government's forecast of $29 a tonne. One analyst at least isn't predicting that.
Our expectation is that it's likely to be lower than that floor, and therefore in the medium term, 2015-16, we're going to see businesses paying less for carbon than they otherwise would.
But the government's predicting European regulators will step in to boost the continent's carbon prices.
There is every reason to believe that carbon markets will recover, and we'll stand by the Treasury modelling. We will not be cutting any household assistance. We're committed to it, and you might recall that there are further tax cuts that have been legislated from 2015 as well.
The Greens argued for the $15 floor price. Now they support its abolition, also predicting there'll be a rapid increase in European carbon prices.
There are some saying that you could have a European price as high as $50, for example.
But Tony Abbott says the backdown is more evidence the carbon tax should be scrapped.
The carbon tax has been in for less than 2 months, and already the government has admitted that they have got it fundamentally wrong.
But the government says the links with Europe's carbon system are the first steps toward a global emissions trading scheme.
It will pave the way for potential linking with carbon markets and emissions trading schemes in the Asia-Pacific region.
There are no developing carbon markets in the Asia-Pacific. Europe is not the world.
By listening to the concerns of business and locking in a deal with the Europeans, the government's trying to build momentum behind its carbon pricing plans. But Tony Abbott says nothing he heard today would stop him repealing the carbon tax if he wins the next election. Even Julia Gillard's enemies in Labor don't want that.
Mr Abbott is the most extreme right-wing leader in his party's history. He has neither the temperament nor the policies to occupy the highest office of this country, the office of Prime Minister. And that is why I believe Mr Abbott is entirely beatable at the next election.
By whom, he didn't say. Tom Eagleton, Lateline.